Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Gagne. With me, as always, is the Null Dog, and this is FYC Film Review. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm excited about this movie because I actually like this movie. So I'm excited to review it, and it's got a lot of good characters in it. So I am ready for this movie.
I am too, but if you haven't, like and subscribe. Check out our last episode of Deep Cuts because we talked about rom-coms, and this is, in fact, another rom-com. A very good one, as you mentioned, Ronaldo. So let's dive in. What do we watch? What did we watch?
We went with the fantastic rom-com, if you want to. I mean, it is a rom-com, right? Crazy Stupid Love, starring a personal favorite of mine, Steve Carell, who, in my eyes, can do no wrong. If I could have anybody at my birthday party, it would be either Steve Carell,
Or Ryan Gosling?
or not
Oh,
not Ryan Gosling, the guy from Spaceballs,
Rick
Dark Helmet.
Moranis. What?
Yeah, Rick Moranis. Anyways, but yeah, went with Crazy Stupid Love, and it's got a lot of good characters in it. Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling, Steve Carell, and Julianne Moore, right,
Mhm.
as the mom. So it's good. Let's get into it.
It's yeah. Let's. I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Dan Fogelman, who created This Is Us, wrote this movie. He also wrote a lot of animated films. He wrote Cars. He wrote Tangled. He wrote
Really?
yeah. So I mean, I actually love those movies. So I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And obviously, This Is Us was a huge phenomenon for a TV show, and
Yeah.
this was before that. So yeah, very talented
Interesting.
writer. Great script. To your point, a lot of characters that you just fall in love with here, and this one hits home. Being I feel with like Cal, in a lot of ways.
Sure.
When this movie came out, going through those things as well, and this movie hit me then, and it still hit me now. I got a little teary eyed when he made his speech at the end. So yeah, I was very happy we chose to do this.
Yeah, and the funny thing with this movie is when I first watched it, I didn't really care for it.
Hmm.
And then my second watching, I really appreciated. This was my third watching it now, but I this movie is really good. It touches a lot of points, and I think a lot of people can relate to a certain character. So I think it's good. It has a running time of an hour and 58 minutes, so just under 2 hours, which was good. It felt just like 2 hours, so it wasn't bad. And it came out in 2011, so right off the bat, it stars. It has to do with Carl Weaver, played by Steve Carell, who is going through a divorce. And his wife tells him right away. They're at dinner. What do you want? What do you want for dessert? And she goes, "I want a divorce."
Call
And
it on
that's
three. Oh,
yeah,
so brutal.
and that's how we get into it. That's how it starts. And I have to give props to the music in this movie because I really like that type of, I don't know if it's like a folk type of indie type of music in
Hmm.
the background, and it just works really well with this movie. So to me, the music in this plays a huge part, a huge part.
Excellent call. Yeah, the music is really good. I get so into the characters, I must forget to listen to it. But there was a song at the end that I was like, "Ooh, I think I know this song. I like this song." Like,
Hmm.
yeah, very very good music. And as you know, we love our scores and our soundtracks. So
Sure do.
yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely helps. I love Ryan Gosling. Plain and simple. He's just forget the Notebook. We know we don't love it. I don't personally love it. Maybe
It's
you
not
do, but
bad.
it's
Come on,
not bad.
Christopher. It's
It's
not. It's,
just
it's a good. It's a good movie.
it's not the high exalted, like for me for love stories. But
Fair enough.
Ryan Gosling for me can do no wrong. Like
Interesting.
he is that guy that I will watch every movie he's in, and
Okay.
you know I I love what he does, and he's definitely playing a part here in this one. And it's interesting, his character is just like a complete 180. Obviously that's what you do
Yeah.
when you fall in love, but I still just love him, and he does so well with Carell. Like they play off each other so well, that you just I could watch just those scenes and get in and get out and would enjoy it just as much.
Yeah. I completely agree. Ryan Gosling was great in this. He's fantastic. The way he plays his character, the way he plays his playboy persona, and it changes him. Everybody in this movie goes through some kind of change for the better, and they find themselves And everybody needs each other in this movie, and they play off really well. Like you said, the relationship between him and Cal, Robbie, I think, was the boy and the babysitter, Mom and Lynn Hagen, Dave Lynn Hagen, or whatever his name was. Everybody needs each other in this movie in some weird, sick, twisted way. So it's really good. It's really deep.
Yeah, this is like the ultimate 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon movie, where
Everybody.
there's so many people in this movie. Like, if you want to play the game, like, you just tie him to this movie right here. He's got a small and underwhelming part, but he plays it well, and gets to be the quote bad guy of the movie, stealing the mom away. But it's funny because you say that everyone goes through transformations, but it's like you almost want to be a little bit of each of these guys. Like you want to be the hopeless romantic, like the son, and you want to be the good dad and husband, like ultimately you think Cal is. Like, they don't really get deep into like why they were going through a divorce and what the issues were, but but also, what guy doesn't want to be Ryan Gosling in this movie? Like, I mean, he made me put on a button-up shirt for this because he just dressed so nice, and I'm just like, why? I wish I could style myself that way.
But I'll play devil's advocate. There was one point where he told Emma, what's her name in it, Hannah, when they were in the bedroom, he goes, "I'm wildly unhappy." Even though he's laughing about it, you feel for this guy. You feel for this womanizer because he's so unhappy and he's trying to find joy in all these women, and he can't. He's that's all he knows. And then he asked Emma Stone, I want you to ask me something personal about me. Like, nobody gets to know him. It's really sad. I feel bad for him in a way,
Yeah.
So
it's sad, but it manifests itself in a really comedic way with the late night talks and things generally remember when a good relationship is starting, like all these just talking for hours, finding out these weird things like, I have a QVC problem, like it's because I'm lonely, and so I buy all this crap and it doesn't do anything for me. It just sits in the garage. I'll throw out a first fun fact. Anna Lee, and she, I think, just shortened her name like Anna Lee Taylor or something like that, but she's actually like the same age as Emma Stone, even though she's playing a high school girl, and Emma Stone's supposed to be, this
figures
grown up, grown up, graduated of law school. I thought that was interesting.
It's usually how it works. I'm surprised that the Robbie wasn't like 30 years old either. The little boy.
You're playing a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sounds great. What'd you think of Marissa Tomei, the teacher, as the sober teacher who she meets at the bar?
She's so much fun. She's another one where I've loved her since the first time she came on screen in My Cousin Vinny, and I appreciate what she brings, because she gets a small role too, but man, she just chews it up. Like, that's the scene where the parent teacher conference happens, writing asshole on the board and going over it again and again. The excitement in her eyes when he's like, I want to show you off to my ex-wife, and she gets all excited. She's good. She's really good. The subtle, bird that she gives Carell at the end as he goes up on stage. I can't say enough. Like, they've found some gems, and got some people to sign on to this and do some parts that just made it so much better. Like, you could have had anyone, I guess, in that role, but it's so much better by putting Marissa Tomei in it.
I think it's bad line time. Worst line. Let's do a worst line.
All right. I get the feeling that the same person is going to deliver our worst line. I will go first and say that the transformation for Jacob is rough for me in the beginning, because he is such a womanizer, and because he kind of just is a dick, and that's his persona. The line where he is talking to Steve Carell and says, "The war between the sexes is over. We won the second women started doing pole dancing as exercise."
The war between the sexes is over, and we won. We won the second women started doing pole dancing for exercise.
Oh, that's a good one.
I just was like, what? Like, okay. Like, it just was one of those lines that, like, it was just, you're trying to make a joke about pole dancing, I guess, but as an exercise, but it just didn't land.
Okay, that's a good one. I I didn't catch that one, but that's a good one. Okay, that Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling also had my bad line as well, and it was within the first 10 minutes, and it was when he first meets Hannah at the bar with her friend. And this is what he says. So he's trying to pick up on her, and he's using all of these cheesy lines. But this is not a cheesy line. I don't think it is. He said, that's a fact. I find you, it's not a line. I really find you attractive. And he goes, do you find me attractive?
I find you very attractive. Do you find me attractive?
And it brought me back to Meet Joe Black, where Claire asked Joe Black, Brad Pitt, if she likes making love to him. Do you like making love to me? I stopped it there and I said, that's it right there. That's awful.
Good callback. Tune in to Meet Joe Black.
Yeah.
On a previous episode of FYC Film Review.
Like, do people ask that? Like, hey, I like you. Do you like me? I find you attractive. Do you find me attractive? I love making love to you. Do you love making love to me? Like, what the hell? Right? I mean, it's
definitely a very childish response or question. Like, that's the stuff that, you know, when you're in middle school, you write on a piece of paper and you're like, I like you. Do you like me? Circle yes or no. You know, it's like, not necessary.
It's not. It wasn't. No. I was like, oh, okay, fine. That's it right there.
Yeah, someone's got to play the guy. I also was going to point out the fact that he calls his junk schwanz like multiple times. Yeah. Is that a term for that? Because he mentions it like more than once, and I'm like, I've never heard anyone call it that, but okay.
Okay, schwanz. I don't know. I have nothing to say on that. I mean,
schwanz is as big as mine.
Yeah, and then when Steve Carell's drinking on the straw, he goes, "It looks like you're
yes, yeah." That's and then the second time in the steam room, but it just it didn't. Yeah, I almost put that as a bad line, but it's just a one word. So
it makes me second guess when I order like a Long Island with a straw. So you know when I'm at the bar,
it's a stir stick. You don't use it.
You use a straw. You need a straw for a Long Island.
No, it's a stir stick, and then you drink out of the cup.
I like the straw.
Fair enough.
Okay, whatever. Let's talk about some really good scenes. One of my favorite scenes was when they go meet right before they meet the teacher Katie, psycho teacher Katie, where Cal and his, it's still wife, they're still married. They're sitting on chairs and they got, the lockers are in between them. And he has this really good dialogue where he goes, I shouldn't have gotten in the car. I should have fought for you because you fight for your soulmates. Steve Carell is meant for these type of movies. The way that Steve Carell delivers these lines is amazing.
Yeah.
He is fantastic. Again, I'll say it. He is made for these type of movies. The heart that he puts in it and just his quirkiness and his sadness. But I love Steve Carell. I love the guy. He is so good. That is one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
I love it. I like there's so much. I mean, there's so much to draw from. Like we talked about the fight scene, obviously, when everything kind of unravels and you realize that, Hannah's their daughter and everyone's confused. The parents find the pictures and it just, the mom opening up and like, what, JJ? Like freaking out. It's that whole 10 minutes right there is like comedy gold. But like touching wise, like I love this Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling scene when they first, hook up, they don't hook up. They just stay up all night and talk and, have this deep conversations and silliness and this openness. And it reminds you, of that, like first meeting somebody and the passion that's there. And like, just the giggles you have, it's so sweet and innocent and so fun that like, it felt very natural. Like, a lot of times actors don't have that chemistry, but I could have sat there and listened to them for 2 hours just laying in bed and making jokes and Ryan with his shirt off. So whatever.
It's washboard abs.
that line's fantastic when she delivers it. It's just like, shut up. Like you look, what did you say? Photoshopped. Yeah.
Like you're photoshopped or something like that. Yeah. That's good. It's good. This movie is just, it's about heartache, man. It's about heartache and hope and not knowing what's going to happen and trying to find yourself. Cal tries to find himself after his wife says, I want a divorce. Jacob's trying to find himself actually within Steve Carell. So it's about everybody rediscovering themselves in a way that's really neat, how it all ties in, all these stories. It's really good.
Yeah, and it holds up. the thing for some films. You know, this is not one where I think you would go back 20 years and watch it and say there's things in it that make it dated in any way. There aren't those, you know, jokes that are very, you know, era specific. And it is just a good story about people trying to figure out their way, you know, through life and love. And I got touched at the end, you know, when Carell's delivering the speech and he's trying to, you know, save face with his son, because he doesn't want his son to lose faith and love and soulmates and things like that, because he does believe it himself, even though he is, you know, going through a separation. You know, they don't really get divorced in the movie. They're just separated the entire time.
Right.
But it got me choked up, you know, because it's like, again, you know, going through something like that, like you have that moment where you feel like you lose that, and when it comes back, you're just happy it's back, because you don't want to lose that. You don't want to lose that openness and to, you know, have that connection with somebody. And it's just, man, I guess I get choked up again. I was like, I gotta turn away. Like I forgot that
I can't watch this right now.
Yeah. And I'm impressed with the script in general. It's funny because this was like on the top lists of, I don't know if they call it the blacklist or something. There's a list in Hollywood of like unmade scripts, like the top scripts that just haven't been made into movies. And this was one of them in 2010 before they made it, and they didn't have a title for it. And so they actually had like an on-set, you know, competition for whoever could name this movie, you know, whatever the best one was going to win like an iPad or something like that. And I'm like, that's insane that they just didn't have a title for this. And Steve Carell even said like the title itself doesn't really lend itself to what this movie is. You know, there's a lot of the Ryan Gosling and Steve Carell. He's like, it should have been called like, you know, The Wingman or something like that, because it's just, that's even more accurate than saying something like Crazy Stupid Love. You just don't really know what the movie's about necessarily. And it's tough to describe.
It is. Yeah. It's just called it Be Better Than the Gap. The Gap. Better Than the Gap. That's what they should have called it.
That's another great scene, because it's just a lot of Ryan Gosling getting on the Velcro when he opens the Velcro and just I mean, there's so many things in this that like got turned into, you know, memes or GIFs, or like, you know, you go search for, you know, that face that Gosling makes when he opens the Velcro, or Steve Carell with, you know, the drink in hand and pointing at people. Like, it's very much a pop culture movie. I don't know, in the way that it's been around for a good, 10 years now. And I think still holds up and is still really good. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. It's a good one.
I completely agree with you. So I don't have much else. So do you want to rate?
I do.
Okay.
I'm conflicted.
All right, so rating scale, here we go. Let's rate it. Rating scale 1 to 5. We decided that we're going to go with a rating scale of Lyndon Hagens. Is that correct?
Lyndon
Hagens.
Lind. No E in there. It's Lind Hagen.
Sorry about that. Lyndon Hagen. 1 to 5. 1 Lind Hagen. Bad. 5 Lind Hagens. Great. You want me to go first because you're conflicted, or do you want to just go for it?
No, you go first. I gotta wait. I gotta think about this.
Okay, I really like this movie. This is one of my, I would consider one of my top romantic comedies now. I just appreciate this movie so much. I love the fact that in the end, nobody really gets what they want, but it leaves you with a sense of hope. Like, they go through all this stuff, and at the end, everybody is content where they're at. And the audience doesn't know whether they're going to get back together or not. The only person that kind of gets what they want is Jacob. But other than that, it just kind of leaves it up for, okay, they're not getting together yet, but there's hope. And I love that. I love the way it ended. It wasn't a super happy ending, but there was so much hope there that you went away satisfied. So again, I love this movie. I'm going to give it a 4, a solid 4 for me. I haven't given a movie a 4 in a while, so I'm super happy that we watched this. It is a 4. Super good movie. Highly recommended.
For Lynn Hagens. I like it.
For Lynn Hagens, yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see you have, joy in a movie again. I'm with you. This one is top notch for me. I was looking for a reason to knock it down a notch or two. Again, first time I saw it, laughing, crying, amazing. Watched it a few times and it still didn't disappoint this time. I'm going another clean sweep. It's got 5 Lindhagens for me.
Wow, very well done, sir.
I can't think of a reason to say it's bad. There's runtime issues. The script is funny. Yeah, there's bad lines. Nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
But for me, this movie is like perfect. I love the messages in it. I love the actors. I love this. Everything about it is fun. And to your point, which is a great point, I do enjoy when it doesn't always have to be a happy ending. I do enjoy when you can get some closure and some resolution without necessarily needing to tell, well, what's going to happen now for the next 20 years? Like they had to get back together. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
Right.
That again is part of life and people figuring things out. And I loved that. And it's just, I get goosebumps just talking about it right now. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie.
Even in his end speech, Steve Carell, Cal, when he's giving the speech, he says, I can't give you that to his son, that they're going to get back together. But he says, I can promise you I'm going to try. So it's good. It's really great. So I loved it. Good job.
I'm great rating. I want to mention one thing because I almost marked it down and then it happened. It's a line in the end of the movie when they're talking about the kid and they're like, yeah, he's kind of weird. Like they talk about his haircut. And I laughed so hard because I thought that the entire movie was like, why do they do that to kids in movies? They always have these weird bowl cuts or this weird, shaggy hair. And then they made it a joke in the movie. And I was like, that's fantastic. So I don't have to.
Yeah. So look at that. Yeah, I get it. I understand why you give it a 5. Okay. The sheepdog. Cool.
Sheepdog.
All right. Let's wrap it up in a nice bow for this one.
It is Ryan Gosling. It is Steve Carell. It was Crazy Stupid Love. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time. I've been your host, Gagne, and the Null Dog with me as always. FYC Film Review. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a good
everybody.
one.
Bye.
Bye.